you're going to learn how to make your own journal or sketchbook. Have you ever had a diary or a journal that you like to write in? It's really nice to be able to get your thoughts out on paper or your feelings. Maybe it's at the end of the day, just writing about your day, or maybe it's like my mom who has a grateful journal. So every morning she wakes up and writes about one thing in her life that she's grateful for. One person, one pet, one experience, anything. So journals, diaries, they're very open-ended. And they're also similar to sketchbooks. Do you have a book that you like to draw in? Maybe doodle while you're like waiting for something or you're bored. Maybe you have a sketchbook that you like to take with you places. Sketchbooks have been really important to me in my life at different times. One time that I really relied on sketchbooks was traveling. So I've been to Europe by myself before, and I didn't know anybody, and I didn't speak the language, and I didn't have my phone because, you know, this was like before cell phones and stuff. So I would kind of sit awkwardly and not know what to do. Well, it really helped me to get my sketchbook and just, you know, draw what I saw. Like maybe it was a cool building or a bird or a person. So there's all different kinds of things that you can use your journal or sketchbook for. I'd like to show you some of my sketchbooks or journals from over the years. My mom kept pretty much everything. So this was one that I found that must have been really pretty early on in my childhood. You can see that I was pretty young when I drew that, but definitely creative. I drew my doll Mary. So you can draw anything. Like sketchbooks can be so random. I wrote names. Let's see what else I have in here. Oh, a picture of my bird feeder. Ooh, I like that parrot. So you can tell I'm getting better and better. Oh, I still have that stuffed animal, koala. Oh, my mom drew a picture of me when I was little. And then I drew myself. So you can tell, you know, I was learning, right? Let's go a little older. I found this one. I think it must have been from high school because I really got into drawing like fashion girls and characters and stuff. Oh, I can see some notes I took for assignments. Cool stuff. Ooh, I like this one. Hold on, let me flip back. The butterflies are neat. Umbrella. And I'm starting to develop my style. So if you saw my First Nation art, this one's a little similar. Oh, I love drawing fashionable ladies, rock stars, all different kinds of stuff. Ooh, playing with eyes. I went through this phase where I'd like to draw eyes all the time. Whoa, okay. I must have copied that from a photograph because that's really good. Man, ooh, I remember this assignment. My high school art teacher told us to make these cool collages. So we would cut out pictures from magazines and then make like interesting images here. Oh, I totally remember that. So it's weird, like when you open up your journals or sketchbooks from over the years, it'll like take you back to that time. So I think this was when we were studying faces. Oh yeah, faces. Perspective. Oh, this was a cool assignment. Our teacher had us draw our eyes in different ways. That was pretty good. I was getting really good in high school, I think. That's when I have always known I wanted to be an artist. I think she had us draw she had us draw our nose and our mouth in different positions. That was really, really good practice. Oh, that one's funny. I connected the ears to make a dude. All kinds of cool stuff. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, These look like more notes, so writings. I think that was college. Oh yeah, this was definitely college. We got to decorate the outside with paint pens, so I thought that was pretty cool. And it was just a class called Arts and Human Development, but we would save all of our notes from class in like a super artistic way. So everything was thoughtfully made, which was cool. And I think this one is one of my most recent sketchbooks. Oh yeah, this says from 2017, so it's nice to have dates. This is one of my best friends, Amy, and I remember we were traveling in California. Excuse me. We were traveling in California, and she was just sitting there. I thought the light looked cool on her, so I drew a picture of her. Oh, this one was a plan. So sketchbooks could be used for like, you know, just kind of planning out your ideas, and then later you could do like bigger pieces of art. Because this one I ended up doing on a huge chalk mural at a restaurant in Boone for Appalachian State. Oh, this was just notes for a meeting, and that was the dude talking was Ray. Let's see, anything else cool? Notes, words, all kinds of stuff. It really is fun. So today, I'm going to teach you how to make your own sketchbook, your own journal. Yay! This is the type of journal or sketchbook that we are going to make now. Mine's definitely pretty funky. I had a lot of fun making it last night, but there's tons of creative possibilities here. So you'll notice I used a ribbon to tie it together. I actually covered the front and back, the cover, with wrapping paper. So this reflective purple was something for, I think, birthday presents or something. And then I used it with some other paper that I had made over the years and painted. These are finger paintings, and I just cut them up and collaged them on there. You'll be able to decide how many pages you want for your sketchbook, and it's really not that hard. It's tons of fun, and let's get started. There are so many ways that you can make a book, from easy to more complicated. Ours is pretty easy. You do not have to make your book this way. If you don't have the same supplies or time, you can just take a stack of paper and fold it together. And you could maybe put some paper clips or staple, anything. So the kind we're gonna make is a little bit funky, cool, and artsy. You will start with a piece of paper, just like this. This is going to be the cover of your book, and you can fold that paper in half. I'm using a slightly thicker piece of paper for this. All right, this is going to be my cover. You do not have to cover your cover with anything. You could draw on top of your cover. You could do anything. I am going to cover my cover with wrapping paper, just because it's always around the house. We've always got some left over, and it makes nice colors and patterns. I liked this one because it reminded me of art and the color wheel and the rainbow spectrum. So I would like to cover this with this, and it's nice because this wrapping paper actually has a grid on the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up on my edges, make sure that that will fit properly, and then use some glue to glue it down. gluing your paper to your wrapping paper. I've noticed over the years, I see kids overuse glue. So instead of aiming from above and creating these big puddles in the middle, you want to do pretty much the opposite. You want to touch the tip to your paper and make thin lines. Always go around the perimeter, because really that's the most important part to get glued, is the edges of your paper. I also like to just do thin lines through the middle. We want this part to be glued really well to make a strong cover for your book. Okay. I'm just using regular Elmer's glue. Okay. And line up your edges very carefully. Smooth it out. Press. Press, press, press. Then I'm going to cut around these edges so that it fits flush. Covered the outside of my book, but it might be nice to have a little surprise when you open it, because this is kind of plain. So I think I'm going to use a different kind of wrapping paper with different pattern so that it's a nice colorful surprise when you open the book. I'm just going to repeat the same step. I will lay out my wrapping paper. This is what I'm going to use. It's got stars on it. Definitely from kids' birthday parties. And then I'll repeat the last process of gluing the other side to that paper and then cutting it out. Covered your cover, you could personalize this. So I was thinking that on mine, I might draw on top of Sharpie and do like cool designs inside of these. I'll probably put my name, maybe the year on here, all kinds of possibilities. The next step is to add the pages to your journal or sketchbook. Pro tip, you want these pages to be just a little bit smaller than your cover. They tend to want to stick out if they're the same size. So you want them to be maybe about an inch shorter on both the sides. No magic number to the amount of pages that you put into your journal or sketchbook. I think I have maybe like, looks like that's half, maybe 12 or 14 pages, but these are folded in half, so probably I used about 7 pieces of paper, and then I just folded them in half, just like a book. All right, so I'm going to stick these inside my cover, just like that, and check to make sure it fits. If it doesn't, you can always trim more. You just can't cut less. There's a little wisdom for you. Okay. So now we need to bind our book. Like I said, there's tons of ways you can bind a book. You could use glue, staples, paper clips. We are going to use a string or a ribbon. So this is probably one of the easiest ways to make a cool looking book. all I did was I put my pages inside my cover just like that so that they fit. Then I'm going to start laying out this ribbon. It is arm's length. All right, so I want to leave a tail here, maybe about 6-inch tail or so, maybe a little longer. And then I want to lay my ribbon here on the seam of the book and then wrap it around the outside. I want to kind of be conscious of where the pattern is just because it looks cool. So I'm going to flatten that out a little bit. You can definitely use any kind of string. Okay, now I'm going to double that up. I'm going to go around again just to make it stronger and tighter. Okay, so I'm pulling this pretty tight and I'm going through the middle again. So I'm wrapping that twice and then I'll meet on this side. And again, I want to kind of flatten out the ribbon so it looks nice and neat. Play with that a little bit. And then I'm just going to tie this in a knot or a bow to keep it all together. So you didn't have to do any sewing, no punching holes, super easy. I'm going to double knot this so it's nice and tight. All right, and probably even do like a little bow just to give it some design or flair. Okay, let's see if it worked. Voila! You have a sketchbook. Look, your pages will stay in. And you got a cool ribbon in the middle. Looks like it could use a little bit of messing with. You can play with yours, make sure it works for you. Move it around a little bit. This almost reminds me of a bookmark. Voila! Your very own journal or sketchbook. Now that you have made your very own custom creative journal or sketchbook, stay tuned for assignments. Actually, let's call them journal entries because these are going to be really fun, short little prompts like the ones I showed you from my sketchbooks. There'll be different ones every week, maybe even 2 a week, and I want you to fill your sketchbook up. Your first page, here's your first assignment. As soon as you open up your book, I want it to have your name on the first page. So get really creative. You could put your first name and your last name. You could do a nickname if you wanted to. And please add lots of colors and details to express your personality. Think about what style of lettering you want to do for your name. Like you could do block letters or cursive, curly cues to make it look kind of fancy. You could even get really crazy and messy and do all kinds of wild shapes. So anything you want to do to express your personality, and please show me your name so that as soon as you open up your journal, we'll know whose it is. So that's assignment number 1. After you make your journal, is make a front page with your name on it in a very creative way. And have fun. I'm back in my art studio ready for journal entry number 1, which is to design your cover page. So I've got my 2 journals here that I made, and I think I'm going to do a different style for each one. So when you open it up, it's going to have your name, but don't just write your name. You want it to be artfully done. So think about the font you want to use. I think for this one I'm going to do pretty big block letters, and then also think about what you want for your actual name. Like, do you want it to be just your first name? Like for mine would be Dabney's Journal or Dabney's Sketchbook, because Dabney is my first name. Or do you want it to be your first and last name? Or like for me, I could put Miss Smith's Journal. Another option would be to write the year. I always enjoy that when I open up my sketchbooks from over the years so I can see actually when they were made. Okay, for this one I think I'm going to do Miss Smith's Journal 2020-2021. And I'm going to sketch this in pencil first. way to work with block letters is to just very lightly sketch them kind of regular and then to go around them to create the blocks. So I know I want Miss up here, so I'm going to very lightly do M-S period, and then I'm going to fit in Smith is a little longer, of course. So Miss, I'm going to do all caps because I think that's kind of fun. Miss Smith, apostrophe S. I'm going to make this S maybe large to match the other S there. It's probably pretty hard for you to see. When I sketch, I draw pretty lightly. And then, do I want to call this a sketchbook or a journal? I think for this one I'll put sketchbook because I've got those other S's going. Sketchbook. And then 2020-2021. Okay, so now that I've got my basic shapes, I can go around them and create these block letters that would have a bit more style to them. Love doing lettering like this. You can use creative lettering in so many different aspects of your life moving forward. Like anytime you have a poster to make or a card or a school project, make some awesome letters and it'll really jazz up your project. So I just did kind of like these block letters, and now I'm going to outline them in Sharpie. The only danger about using permanent marker with your sketchbook is that it could end up bleeding through to the page behind it. But there's ways to cover that up later. If you didn't like it, you could always glue another page here or do a collage there. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this in black Sharpie. To add some color and maybe even tie in the inside and outside to this. So I'd like to pull this red and white zigzag pattern into my letters, and then I'm going to use some purples and blues on the outside to make the whole thing match. But again, there's a million possibilities with this. Get creative, express yourself. As long as it has your name when you open it up, you are good to go. Have fun with this. Work on sketchbook number 2. So I just did my cover page for the sketchbook and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So now I'd like to do something completely different with this one, just to show you that there's a world of possibilities. So this one has a lot of bright colors, stars, circles. I may use that as inspiration for my cover page here. So for my last one, I put Miss Smith's sketchbook. So I think on this one, I want to do my first name, which is Dabney, and maybe I could call it Dabney's Doodles. Let's see. I think I'd like to pull in a circle shape here, just as a design element. Okay, so again, I'm starting with a pencil, drawing very lightly here. Now I could go Dabney's Doodles 2021, 2020, 2021. about 2020. What year is it? I don't know.
I could go down these doodles and then do like a bunch of different cool shapes around it.
What do you think? I'll probably make it up as I go along. We are off to a great start making our journals, our sketchbooks. I hope you had fun learning this simple bookbinding process, and I hope you got really creative with your book because it's yours. So I want it to express who you are, your personality, your favorite colors, shapes. Feel free to draw in these pages and stay tuned to our Google Classroom because you'll get 1 or 2 new journal activities every single week. Make sure you take photos of your journals. I'd love to see how they're going, and thank you so much everyone for watching and making art with me. Bye.